If you're new to vision loss, low vision, or blindness, this episode is for you. Looking back to 2016, there are things I wish I had understood sooner. Things that would have saved me stress. Things that would have helped me adapt faster. Things that would have reminded me that vision loss changes your life, but it doesn't have to end your independence. Today, I want to share 3 things I wish I knew when I first started losing my vision. Before we get into those 3 things, I want to tell you something I am incredibly excited about. On August 5th, Blind Inspirations will be launching our adaptive fitness lab at the Lighthouse of Collier. It's not a regular fitness class. This is about meaningful movement. As vision loss increases, activity often decreases. Maybe you stop walking as much. Maybe you stop going places. Maybe you become more cautious and then more cautious. And slowly your world gets smaller. And that's what we want to stop. The goal of this lab is to help people build meaningful movement into their daily lives. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Small focused movements that supports balance, confidence, mobility, strength, orientation, and health. You will be learning in a safe environment, led by someone with the same disability, but also with years of experience training people. How the lab works. On August 5th, participants will meet at the Lighthouse of Collier for a 3 to 4 hour seminar. During that seminar, you will learn your personal movement program. Then you take that program home. Each week, we will follow up through Zoom calls. Then, once a month, we'll meet again at the Lighthouse. At those monthly meetings, we'll improve the exercises, make them more challenging when needed, or adjust anything that needs to be adjusted. We will continue meeting monthly through the rest of the year. Because this is not about one class. This is about building habits. This is about movement. This is about independence. And that brings me back to my own journey. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about 2016, when I first started noticing something was wrong with my vision. Back then, I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know what the future would look like. I didn't know what adaptations I would eventually make, and I certainly didn't think I'd be sitting here nearly 10 years later with a decade of vision loss experience underneath my belt. So today, I want to share 3 things I wish I knew when I first started losing my vision. Number 1, I wish I had given up driving sooner. Now, that's not easy to say. Driving represents freedom. It represents independence. It represents control. And when you start losing vision, giving up the keys feels like giving up a piece of yourself. But looking back, I caused myself a lot of unnecessary stress by holding on too long. I live in South Florida. The rain here can be torrential. There are times when I was practically crawling down the road, just trying to get home safely. White-knuckled. Stressed out, straining to see, hoping I didn't miss something in front of me. And the truth is, I was spending so much energy trying to protect an ability I was losing. When I finally stopped driving, yes, it felt like a loss, but it also opened the door to adaptation. I started learning new transportation options. I started learning new technologies. I started learning new ways to remain independent. If I could go back to 2016, I would not tell myself I was giving up. I would tell myself I was adapting sooner. Because sometimes holding on too long delays the growth waiting on the other side. Number 2, I wish I had reached out to the Lighthouse and other support groups sooner. When I first started losing my vision, I thought I could figure it all out by myself. I was independent. I was stubborn. And I did not want to admit that I needed help. But what I learned later is that reaching out isn't weakness. It's wisdom. The Lighthouse connected me with people who understood vision loss. Support groups connected me with people who had already walked parts of the road I was just beginning. They knew the frustration. They knew the fear. They knew the little daily battles that are hard to explain to someone who has never lived it. And most importantly, they reminded me I was not alone. If I could go back to 2016, I would tell myself, make the call. Go to the meeting. Ask the questions. Find your people. Because vision loss may change your life, but it doesn't have to shrink it. Number 3, I wish I had sought professional help sooner. And when I say professional help, I mean someone to talk to, a therapist, a counselor, a doctor, somebody trained to help you process a major life change. Because vision loss isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's psychological, it's grief, it's pain. And for a long time, I tried to carry that by myself. Now I understand, not everybody can afford therapy. Not everybody has insurance. Not everybody has access to professional counseling. But if you do have insurance, or you have access to those resources, I strongly recommend you get psychological help as soon as possible. Not because you are weak, because you are strong. Strong enough to admit that a major life change can affect your mind as much as your body. I believe heavily in talk therapy. One of the reasons I do this channel is because talking through these things on camera helps me process my own issues. And if professional counseling is not available to you right now, there's still options. One resource I've used myself is 988. It's the National Mental Health Crisis and Emotional Support Hotline. Sometimes you do not need advice. Sometimes you don't need solutions. Sometimes you just need another human being to listen. And it's a free service provided to everybody who needs to talk. So those are 3 things I wish I knew when I started losing my vision. I wish I had given up driving sooner. I wish I had reached out to the Lighthouse sooner. And I wish I had talked to somebody sooner. If you're new to vision loss, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not broken, you're not weak, you're not finished. You're adapting. And that adaptation takes time. But the sooner you start building the right support, the sooner you start building your next version of independence, the better you're going to be. This is Blind Inspirations. Keep moving, keep adapted, and I'll see you in the next one.